baseball's greatest games. This edition, Game 6 of the 1986 World Series between the Boston Red Sox and the New York Mets. In a shuttle series between Boston and New York, the Red Sox come into Game 6 one victory away from their first World Championship since 1918. But one strike from elimination, the Mets are about to treat a celebrity-filled Shea Stadium crowd to one of the greatest comebacks in series history.
It will be noisy here at Shea on Saturday night. It is a festive, highly enthusiastic crowd as Wade Boggs awaits the first pitch. A strike. Oh, 0-1 to Boggs, followed by Barrett and then Buckner. Breaking ball missed, 1-1. The plate umpire from the American League, Dale Ford. Working the bases, John Kibler, Jim Evans, and Harry Wendelstedt. Joe Brinkman on the left field foul line, Ed Montague on the right field foul line. 1 ball, 1 strike. And there's a hopper off the glove at third of Knight, and Santana can't pick it up, and Boggs is aboard. So we'll await the judgment from the 3 official scorers.
It's pretty apparent that Boggs was going to go to the opposite field all the way. Knight just does flick it. Santana looks like he might be able to make a play, but he can't find the handle. And Boggs is on.
With a base hit, the official score just flashing the sign. Marty Barrett hitting in the number 2 slot with Boggs aboard. Interestingly enough for Barrett, he has been on base 12 times in the World Series. He has hit in all 5, the only player to do so, and yet he has failed to score a run. Strike.
It'll be a pretty good battle because Ojeda knows that Barrett will be trying to hit that ball to the right side. He's got a hole between first and second. Hernandez has to hold Boggs on, and when you know what a hitter has to do, it gives you a bit of an edge, but it'll be a pretty good battle.
Dykstra shading him a tad towards right center. 0-1. Change hit to right center, but that's where Dykstra is. So they played him that way, and that's exactly where he hit it. 1 out, and Bill Buckner coming out.
Note that both the first 2 hitters hit the ball to the opposite field. The off-speed pitcher, they're going to try to lay back and look for that pitch and go the other way, because you know how he tied him up the last time he faced him.
So Buckner with the right side of the infield open. Hernandez on the bag, guarding with Boggs. The outfield is just about straightaway. Dykstra come back over more towards straightaway than he was playing Marty Barrett.
Surprised he's not shading him towards left center field.
Boy, this crowd came here to make some noise tonight. One of the many reasons an unexpected guest at Shea Stadium. Took the expression, why don't you drop by, literally and figuratively.
That's about the only way to beat the traffic in this town.
1 ball and everybody got a kick out of it. 1-0 the count to Bill Buckner. And I'll tell you what, Wally Backman almost jumped out of his uniform when that man came down in front of him at second base.
And why not?
Oh, are they up Saturday night at Shea? 1 ball and no strikes. Ball 2.
It's not even a full moon.
Buckner having a look at Rene Latchman. Latch going through the signs. Boggs, an interested spectator, too, at first. As you can say, they're pinching the middle. Backman way off to his right, Santana to his left. So they're both shading Buckner up the middle. And he missed him 3-0. So they're expecting Buckner to go that way. 1 out, first inning. In there.
If there would be a pitch he could pull, it would be the 3-1 pitch. But with Ojeda, his big strength is changing speeds. He'll throw you something besides the fastball when he's behind.
Three and one. We'll watch Boggs. He's holding, and it's fouled away. 3-2. So they didn't play run and hit on that one. We'll see what they do this time. Remember, Buckner with the bad legs is a definite double play possibility. Second in the major leagues in grounding into double plays. So we'll see if that means that McNamara will turn Boggs loose.
I don't think he would, because Buck doesn't strike out that much, and he's got to stay away from the double play to get Rice up there.
In game one, they didn't have the runner going, and Buckner hit into the double play in the first inning. Boggs is not going, then goes late, and the ball is hit to straightaway center to Dykstra. Two out in the first inning. Wade Boggs holding at first, and here is Jim Rice. Rice, 8 times an All-Star, up there in a spot in the first inning. It is interesting that Jim Rice, who is a power part of the Red Sox attack, has only had 3 at-bats in the World Series with a man in scoring position. And half of his at-bats have been leading off an inning. Fouled away, 1-1.
Even though Ojeda is not known as a power pitcher, they're playing Rice straight away. Dykstra in center field, right in line with the bag. Take a look at that. He's got a lot of room in right center and left center.
Remember, it's 338 down the lines, 371 falling away to 396, and 410 straight away center. And he came inside with the fastball. Ball 2. 2-1. On deck, Dwight Evans. Two and 1. Change, and he was way out in front of it.
That's what that fastball on the pitch before that one was so effective. He keeps him honest by coming inside. He's not afraid to come inside, but that's his best pitch, that dead fish.
Deuce is wild on Rice in the first inning. High foul off to the right and way out of play. The temperature at game time, 53 degrees. A little on the damp side. They're talking about rain perhaps sometime tomorrow. Two balls, 2 strikes. Ball 3. Tough pitch to take, borderline.
That's another one of those pitches that you're fooled, but you try to appear real cool like you saw it all the way and just take it. But he had it by him.
Boggs, of course, definitely going 2 out on a full count. Hernandez not holding, and the pitch is in the dirt. So he threw him a 3-2 change, and the Sox have 2 on, 2 out, and Dwight Evans coming up. Much has been said about Bobby Ojeda pitching on 3 days rest. 3 years ago, he pitched extra innings on 3 days rest against Milwaukee, and he certainly is accustomed to the pressure. He won the second game of the playoffs in Houston after a loss. He held off the Astros in the 6th game, and the Mets won it. He won game 3 at Fenway Park to avert the sweep, and now, of course, pitching the must game of the series for New York. 2 on, 2 out, first inning. Change, strike. A portion of the crowd is doing that sing-song Dewey for Dwight. Not nearly as strong, of course, as the Boston fans when they were serenading Darryl Strawberry. 1-1. Boggs at second, Rice at first, 2 out. High drive up the alley in left center field. That's trouble, heading for the wall and off the wall. Dykstra plays it. 1 run will score on a double by Evans, and Rice holds at third. So Dwight Evans hits the left center field wall for a long double and a run batted in. And with first base open, the left-hand hitting Rich Gedman coming up.
Ball well hit, but played perfectly by Dykstra. He gets that camera in good shape, hits the cutoff man, and with that, Latchman holds Rice at third.
So for the Mets, who won 108 during the regular season, 4 in the League Championship Series, 2 in the World Series, 114 wins, not enough. And they go in trailing in the first inning against Roger Clemens. Fly ball to right center, a late start, but it's high enough for Strawberry to put it away. However, the Red Sox get a run on 2 hits and lead 2. At the end of half an inning, Sox 1, Mets coming up. Dave Henderson, followed by Spike Owen and then Roger Clemens. Interestingly enough, Henderson has started more games in center field for Boston in the postseason than he did in the regular season. Ball 1. And as you can see, he is enjoying every minute of it.
It's a pretty good reason to start him, those triple fours.
Well, now 2 balls and no strikes. Ojeda surrendered a walk to Rice, and then the double by Evans for a run. And he's behind now 3-0 to Henderson.
That's not the way he pitches. He's usually ahead.
When he pitched game 3, and Mel Stottlemyre knows full well about that, you might remember Bobby Ojeda went 7 innings in game 3. And in that game, he faced 28 batters, and only 7 balls, including the hits, were hit to the outfield. Well, in the first inning, 3 balls were hit for outs and the double, so 4 went to the outfield. There's a 5th one, and we're only in the 2nd inning. Mookie Wilson. So this is not the same Ojeda that we saw in game 3.
And I think that's a pretty good indication right there, Ben, because Henderson was fooled on that pitch. Believe me, he was fooled, because he already committed himself and got that bat. He did it all with his arms, and it carried that far. I mean, he doesn't really drive it, but that's not the good Henderson swing. He'd already committed himself, and he drove it a long way.
How about the ball he hit against Donnie Moore? That wasn't a good swing. That fork ball that didn't, and yet he hit that thing out.
Yeah, but he
He's
had
so strong.
But he had a better swing at that Donnie Moore than this one.
Here's Spike Owen with 1 out, 2nd inning, 1-0 Boston. Here's ball 1.
At best, he doesn't have a picture swing.
No. The cluster of balloons that we saw in Boston has suddenly reappeared over Shea. In there. 1-1. Spike Owen. Roger Clemens on deck. Comebacker right through the legs of Ojeda into center field. To a 1-out single by Spike Owen. That is hit number 3 for the Sox, and it will bring up Clemens.
Looked like a breaking ball, and he sends it right back up the middle. He waits on it, Owen does. You see it. Now watch him hit down on it. Right back up the middle. It's a goal right through the wicket. And with him on at first base, Clemens now gets a chance to help himself by bunting him over, and Hernandez has already set up his defense. He'll be charging pretty hard.
In his previous game here at Shea, Clemens' first at bat found Owen at first, and he was allowed to swing 2-0, which shocked everybody, and he eventually was aboard on an error. Strike. He had 3 trips to the plate in that game. He was aboard on an error, sacrificed, and flied to right.
You have to be careful of Hernandez at first base, because when he goes in and talks to the pitcher, he may say, now on the second pitch, I'll go in a couple steps and go back. You have to be really leery of him. He's always in the game.
Ray Knight way in on the grass at third and committed to come in even more.
There it was.
Oh, and 1 to Roger Clemens. He's swinging and fouled it away. Remember, they let him swing 2-0 in that game. That's why we brought it up. And sure enough, he hacked away. 0-2.
I have to believe that John turned him loose trying to pick a pitch, and he picked a pretty good one at that because it was an off-speed pitch as we look at Latchman flashing a series of signs. And Hernandez once again in talking to his pitcher.
0-2 to Clemens. Owen held on at first. A gap in left center. Dykstra shading and cheating, and Knight ready to charge anyway. And the bunt is fouled, and Clemens has struck out. Two down in the second inning, and that will bring up Wade Boggs, who singled off and under Ray Knight's glove to open up the game and eventually came around to score.
If he's looking for a particular pitch, if he gets that slow curveball, he'll try to pull it in a hole first and second. Otherwise, that fastball, he'll go the opposite field.
Big breaking ball, and Boggs takes away ball 1. Knight way off the line, and Santana is shading up the middle. And he fouled it off. 1 ball, 1 strike. One run, 3 hits for the Red Sox. Nothing across for the Mets, and we're in the top of the second. There goes Owen, and there's a base hit through the hole vacated by Backman. On his way to third is Owen, and they'll hold him on a strong throw by Strawberry that's cut off by Hernandez. What a job of execution. Backman broke to cover second, and Boggs drilled it right to the vacated spot.
And it was a slow curveball, a ball that he can handle now. He starts, and Owen gets a pretty good jump. There you see the ball shooting by him, a slow curveball. He was able to pull it, and you can see Backman over near the bag.
Well, you try and outguess Boggs, and you figure left-hand hitter, maybe he's going to go the other way again. So you have the second baseman cover, and he burns you. And now here is Marty Barrett, who lined out in the first inning to Dykstra. Change for a strike.
Pretty apparent that McNamara is using strategies, picking pitches. He did on Clemens, and he did on Boggs, and he did with Owens running.
Boggs at first, Owen at third, 2 out. Showed him the fastball. 1 ball and 1 strike.
When they talk about Ojeda, they talk about him. He has to sell his fastball. He has to show you enough of his fastball that you go with his arm speed. And if he sells you that, then he can throw that off-speed pitch, and he's got you. But here's a tough hitter who can go the opposite field with it.
1-1. And he goes foul, trying to take him to right field. 1-2. The Sox scored in the first inning, but they left 2. They've left 11 men on base in each of the last 2 games, and they've averaged a little more than 9, almost 10 men left on base in each game of the series. One and 2, and the Mets fans want an out. Line drive to left, and it's a base hit. Scoring is Owen, stopping at second is Boggs. And the Sox are on top 2-0.
And once again, Marty Barrett's right in the middle of it.
For Davy Johnson and the Mets, they can't afford to fall back too much, especially with Roger Clemens on the mound for Boston. So immediately there'll be activity in the Mets bullpen.
I tell you, you watch that Marty Barrett, and then you think about him on the pregame show as we look at Aguilera, when he said Thurman Munson may be looking down thinking one of the big hitters that should break his record, but I did it.
Spike Owen coming in with run number 2 in the inning. The So it is a different Bobby Ojeda indeed, and the tip-off, as we said, the ball's in the first inning that will hit out of the infield. 2-0 Red Sox, and here is Buckner, who flied to center in the first inning, with Boggs at second and Barrett at first. That hit-and-run play was a key play so far. And that's driven to right, but Strawberry going back, almost turned the wrong way and makes the catch. That ball fooled him, but Darrell stayed with it and made the play. 1 run, 3 hits, 2 more left for the Sox. That makes it 4. Now he has to twist and go back to get it. And at the end of an inning and a half, 2-0 Boston.
Let's skip ahead to the bottom of the 5th. It's still 2-0 Red Sox.
Ball 1. Change, and it's hit in the air and slicing foul away from Jim Rice and back into the seats. 1 ball, 1 strike. Sox a run in the first, a run in the second, and that's it. Bottom of the 5th. The totals tell the story. Clemens has retired 8 in a row. Last man to get on was Strawberry, the only man to get on. Now that was a classic example, as you see Santana and Carter studying. Strawberry laid off that fastball and sailed up and out of the strike zone. 2-1. And another one. Those are the same pitches that Ray Knight chased when he struck out.
It's the easiest pitch in the world to see, and that's why you chase it, but it's the most difficult to hit.
So Knight trying to go to school on Strawberry. 3-1 the count. Ball 4. Strawberry stole second in the second inning, and while Buckner had him busily engaged, he might have missed a sign. That's why he's looking over there. Buckner is the town visitor. He went over and talked to Bill Robinson, and I think he had misdirected Strawberry's attention. And Darrell finally had to really appeal to Harrelson to repeat the sign.
You would think that Knight would just be taken to see what happens here after that base on balls.
Knight struck out in the second inning. 2-0 Sox. Bottom of the 5th. Mets trying to come back. Fouled away. Knight and Strawberry again taking a long look at Harrelson. Foul, slicing down the right field line and out of play. So now Knight in the hole, 0-2. On deck, Mookie Wilson.
Try to work on it. He thought maybe he'd go for that high fastball that Knight chased the last time, but he just went right in the strike zone with him.
In the 5th inning, we're a couple of hitters away from Bobby Ojeda's spot. Roger McDowell begins to loosen up in the Mets bullpen. 0-2. Breaking ball. 1-2 the count to Ray. There's McDowell. It's a little early to see Roger, but then again, it's getting so very, very late. And Davey and Mel Stottlemyre know it. 1-2. Strawberry goes. Fastball in the dirt. Gedman's throw. He's in there. The ball is going to wind up in Spike Owen's glove, and I thought maybe the shortstop might try the hidden ball trick. What? Now Owen has it, but Strawberry evidently was aware of it. It'll go right out of Barrett's glove. And now he sees him pick it up. Number 22, Ray Knight. Hit up the middle, base hit. Here comes Strawberry, and he will score. The Mets get their first run. Red Sox 2, Mets 1, nobody out. The tying run at first, and the batter Mookie Wilson. And this crowd going wild.
It was a curveball that Ray Knight hit. He really stayed with it. Looking bunt.
Santana on deck. Two bad hacks and the count 0-2. Those fastballs have just thoroughly fooled him. They're way up and out of the strike zone. But of course that's part of the mastery of Roger Clemens. Mookie struck out in the second inning. Ball 2. He certainly doesn't want to go 3-2 with Knight at first. Fouled away. The Mets with a run on a walk, stolen base, and a single by Ray Knight. The Sox leading 2-1. We're only in the 5th inning. Fouled away again. Boy, I tell you, he's throwing a lot of pitches. As big and as strong as he is, that's a lot.
He's not wild. They're just fouling off so many pitches, but it'll take its toll.
Breaking ball hit into right field. Knight to second base will hold, and when Evans bobbles, he goes to third.
it up the middle. Mookie was behind on his fastball. He threw the curveball. He singled into right field. So it's a case now of McNamara trying to settle his young pitcher down. Nobody out, first and third.
Strawberry walked and stole second. Knight got the first hit for the Mets to break the no-hitter as he singled up the middle to score Strawberry. Wilson hit a breaking ball for a single to right, and Knight takes third on the error. Here's the pitch to Mookie. Breaking ball, and he stayed right on it. So Danny Heap will come up to bat for Santana with the tying run 90 feet away and nobody out.
And Heap is a good fastball hitter.
A lot of meetings. Barrett goes over to talk to Buckner, and now Marty goes back to his depth. 2-1 Red Sox, and the Mets try to catch him here in the fifth inning. High fastball, ball one. Mookie at first, Knight at third. Sammy Stewart begins to throw in the shadows of the Red Sox bullpen. A fake and another fake. Naturally, the crowd hollers ball, like night follows day. He was well off the rubber. Ball two, high fastball.
Now it's strength against strength.
Wilson at first, Knight at third, nobody out. Clemens in trouble, 2 balls and no strikes to Danny Heap. Check swing, foul. The crowd was chanting Roger, trying to return the Darrell up at Fenway Park. Second for one to first, double play. However, Knight scores to tie it up. So the error by Dwight Evans has given the Mets the run. Otherwise, Knight would be now at third. Dwight, as we said, had committed only 2 errors since July. And the batter, Bob Ojeda, who has found himself even 2-2. Ojeda struck out in the 3rd inning. We saw McDowell throwing back of him. It's a little early to see Roger, and now that they have caught the Sox, they have the luxury of staying with Ojeda.
And no one on base.
0-2.
You have to believe, again, without the error, and if Knight would be on now, you might see a pinch hitter, but with no one on, Ojeda gets a chance to bat.
To look ahead for the Sox, Henderson, Owen, and Clemens due up in the 6th inning. Ball one. It is the first catch-up game we've had. The Sox led 2-0, and for the first time, a team has caught a leader. Ground ball to Marty Barrett. And that's it. But the Mets get 2, and they are alive and well. And the crowd is on its feet at Shea at the end of 5. A 2-2 tie. Henderson flied to left, flied to center, 0 for 2. Strike. Strike two. Like a soap bubble, he got that thing up there.
Oh, it just floated up there.
And another change hit up the middle, and here's Elster. The 22-year-old gets him. So Kevin gets his feet wet. He was a Texas League All-Star team member this year.
And that's the best thing that can happen to the youngsters, have the first one hit to him where he really has to roam a little bit to his left. He turns it into an easy play, but I tell you, before it's hit to you, I tell you, as a catcher, you hope in this tough spot you get a foul tip. One will just nick you, not hurt you, to kind of wake you up, and that's what he's hoping. The ball's hit to him to get his feet wet, as you put it.
Oh, to be 22 and playing in the World Series, and you're only a pro for 2 years.
You could have stopped after 22.
Wow. Strawberry had left his position. That's why Ojeda waited for a moment. There was a door open in the bullpen, but we're ready. Spike going. Single to center, single to left. He's 2 for 2. So is Barrett, so is Boggs. Right. Roger Clemens, in case you're wondering, is out on deck.
That's the pitch that Owen has been able to hit for the base hit. Curveball he hits down on as we look at Clemens.
0-1. 1-1. Sox scored in the first, and in the second the Mets rallied for 2 in the fifth, and we're even top of the sixth. Fastball. He was late. Ground ball fielded by Hernandez, who flips it behind the pitcher covering.
Looked like Keith was a bit undecided as to how he was going to give it to Ojeda, and he'll talk to him about it. He was just kind of no man's land. Once he gets it, he kind of hesitates here. He doesn't really know what to do with it. Almost a basketball flip. And Owen is on.
And it's going to go as a base hit. The old story, it'll look like a line drive in the box score. He's 3 for 3.
He was actually moving towards third base and really couldn't get anything on that flip. And here's Clemens with another chance to bunt that ball.
And remember, Wade Boggs on deck is 2 for 3. So they're looking bunt. Knight well in. Roger has struck out and fouled out. So Spike Owen 3 for 3. The Sox with 8 hits. The best pitch to bunt, of course, is a nice slow curve. So Clemens figures not to get that pitch. And the Mets are worrying about, I think, a bunt and run play maybe.
Well, there's a lot of times when you're really sure of it, you just almost say to your pitcher, just lay that ball in, or even a mediocre fastball, to make sure he bunts that ball. Now, he's doing a good thing by looking at Latchman, at least putting a thought in the minds of the Mets that they might be switching off. I would tend to doubt it.
0-1.
He's going to have a tough time moving Owen over to second base. Hernandez once again wants to talk to Ojeda, and what he does, as always, is set up his defense, whether he's going to break in on the first move or whether he's going to take 2 steps and go back on the pitch, the next pitch, or whatever. He's 2-3 pitches ahead.
And the bunt is to Hernandez. He's going to go to second just in time.
And that was a good bunt by Clemens, but Hernandez's daring is what made that play. And the difference in this play and the other one is you watch him get the ball and set himself. Now he breaks in immediately. A good bunt. Now watch him set himself now. There he does, and he gets something on the throw and gets his man.
That's the joy of a left-handed first baseman, because you don't have to turn that upper torso. You can just gun it. And when he gets his man, everybody in the ballpark knows it. Now you have Roger Clemens in the strange role of a base runner. It had been strange enough to be a batter. And Hernandez probably kidding him about it as Wade Boggs gets in. 2 for 3. Strike. Boggs singled off Knight's glove, singled to right on a hit-and-run play, and grounded to short, a chopper up the middle in the 4th inning. 0-1. And another breaking ball strike. 0-2.
Oh, Hena's like a dart thrower. He just picks his spots, lays it here, lays it there, puts a little on, takes a little off. He's all around that plate.
Big breaking ball. 1-2. When the Mets bat in the bottom of the 6th inning, they'll have Len Dykstra, Wally Backman, and Keith Hernandez, and Roger McDowell is up again in the Mets bullpen. McDowell has already appeared in games 1, 3, and 4. Breaking ball just missed the outside corner.
Boy, he wanted that one. You could see him shake his head. That was the pitch he wanted right there.
2-2.
It's a curveball. You see that twist. Watch his reaction. A groan.
And another one, and it's hit to second, and there's the feed to Elster. No runs, 1 hit, a man left, and Shea Stadium is rocking to its foundation. We go to the bottom of the 6th in a 2-2 tie. Out away. Another thing, as far as the Sox are concerned, they have not made it easy for Clemens. They have left 8 men in 6 innings. Looked like Dykstra was trying to hit that low fastball to left field. 0-2. Check swing foul. Still 0-2. Two runs, 8 hits for the Sox. 2 runs, 2 hits for the Mets. Got him off speed with a little break at the tail, and Dykstra frozen at the plate. So that's the second time he strikes out, and strikeout number 7 for Roger Clemens.
You almost think that he thought it was going to be the fastball, because the high fastball he wants to lay off, and it just seemed to break over the plate.
Backman struck out and flied to left, and again Boggs looks bunt. Ball 1. Keith Hernandez on deck. The Mets in the 5th inning had Strawberry walk and steal second. Knight singled him home. Wilson singled. Evans Era sent Knight to third, and he scored as Heath hit into a double play. Fouled away.
See Backman talking to himself as he backs off. He tries to send that ball back up the middle. That's his target. And he can drag the ball as far as he's bunting or drop it down the third base line. He can do a lot of things in that batter's box.
1 ball, 1 strike. He was going to drag, and the pitch is low. Ball 2. 2-1.
It's been a good pitch to drag if it had been in the strike zone, because it was a off-speed curveball.
And it's hit to the hole. Smothered. A great stop by Spike Owen. Too late.
It was only Backman's hustle that made that play. Owen makes a tremendous play. Not only does he come up with the backhand from his knees and throws a strike and had pretty good stuff on it, and Backman just does beat it. He hustled all the way. It looked like a base hit from the minute he hit it, and had he stopped to watch it the split second or so, he would have been out.
So Backman singles to the hole, and that will bring up Keith Hernandez. Hernandez has flied to center and fouled out. 0 for 2.
Backman's another one of those runners has the green light, and Davy Johnson will just let him go at any time. It doesn't necessarily demean there's a play on. He's got a green light to run whenever he thinks he can make it.
Backman stole 13 out of 20 during the regular year. 0-1. No one throwing in the Sox bullpen. Stewart was up last inning.
Look at that Buckner trying to just talk to him, break his concentration.
1 ball and no strikes. Look at Buck faking that the ball had gotten away, and Backman wouldn't go for it.
Pretty bad piece of acting. But he tried.
Yep.
Look at Backman. Backman's a bad movie, Buck.
No Oscar. 1 ball and no strikes.
He saw Backman dig in much like Strawberry did the other time when he dug in and took off. What do you think?
1-0 the count to Keith Hernandez. Backman a short lead and now right on the bag. Right. 1-1. One ball, 1 strike, 1 out. Bottom of the 6th, 2-2. Backman at first. Increasing that lead a little bit and now retreats. On deck, Gary Carter. There he goes, and there's a line drive base hit. Backman on his way to third. Henderson has to throw it into first. On that play, Spike Owen was breaking to cover, and Backman has to run around him. However, Henderson couldn't come up with the ball cleanly to make a play on him anyway. And
you could see that pitch was out of the strike zone, a high fastball, and Hernandez just tomahawked it.
First and third, 1 out in the 6th, the 2-2 tie, and Gary Carter trying to break that tie. Way out in front of it.
Here's where Clemens has to muscle up and go for the strikeout.
Steve Crawford is now throwing in the Red Sox bullpen. Oh-1. Fastball pop foul behind the plate and out of play. So Carter with perhaps his biggest at-bat in the series right now. First and third, 1 out in the 6th, trying to give the Mets the momentum that the Red Sox had for the first 4 innings. Oh-2. Got him looking outside corner.
He went with the fastball, and a shot at that outside corner. You could see Gedman give that target, and Clemens really hit it. And there's the yardstick. What do you do with the man on third base in less than 2 outs? He needed to strike on. Look at that glove.
So now it's Darryl Strawberry, front and center, and a frustrated Carter back on the pine. Strawberry has walked twice and stolen second twice. Ball 1. Strawberry has 4 hits in the series. They have all come with the bases empty. And now Buckner to the mound to talk to Clemens.
The pitch that's gotten Clemens in trouble with Strawberry has been that high fastball. Darrell's been laying off that pitch. It's out of the strike zone, and he's walked both times.
One ball, no strikes. Ball 2.
Clemens thought it was a strike. He thought he got pinched on that one.
No strikes. Backman down the line from third. Hernandez away from first with 2 out. Fouled away.
High fastball. That's the pitch he laid off the other 2 times.
There's Hernandez and there's Backman. The big out, of course, Gary Carter caught looking for the 8th strikeout for Roger Clemens. 2-1. Foul back, fastball, 2-2.
It was a curveball that got him in trouble with Ray Knight, and he has relied really on the fastball with Strawberry.
And Knight, of course, kneeling on deck, almost in prayer. And Gary Carter thinking about a glorious but missed opportunity. Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 out, and a 2-2 tie. Ground ball hard, but at Barrett, he hangs it to Owen for the force on Hernandez. And the Mets waste a golden chance, and Carter has to forget about it. We'll be back after these messages. Marty Barrett lined out to center and then singled twice against Ojeda. Now he'll get a sinker ball pitcher. And there's one right off the bat, strike 1. Barrett with 2 hits tonight has hit in 6 straight. McDowell now trying to hold on to this tie until the Mets come up in the bottom of the 7th. 1-1. Fouled off, 1-2.
Very interesting defense. Even though Knight is not guarding the line, he's dropped back. He's still playing Marty Barrett to pull. Yet you look at the outfield, the center fielder Dykstra is in right center field. Look at all that area in there. They're playing him to right field line. In the outfield, Knight's playing him to pull in the infield.
The basic theory, I guess, you don't try to pull a sinker ball pitcher, but it is late enough in the game that if the hitter does pull him, you want to have somebody guarding against the extra base hit. 1-2 to Marty Barrett. Sinker, 2-2.
It's to protect against that off-speed pitch is what Knight is doing, because if McDowell's got the good sinker, which it appears he does, he should get the ground ball either short or second. 2-2.
And it's hit foul off first, out of play. 55,078. They're using the top half of the inning to lay back and recuperate. They have been hollering since right after the national anthem. Fouled away. In 6 previous innings, Jim Rice and company has managed to get the leadoff man aboard in only 2 of the 6 innings. They got the leadoff man in the first inning, Boggs, and he scored. Meanwhile, they have stranded 8 in those 6 innings. Fouled away. Get that ball up a little bit, considering he likes to work down. Roger Clemens, given a 2-0 lead, nevertheless saw it get away in the 5th inning. So he's even 2-2, and we're in the top of the 7th. Just off the corner. 3-2. And you can bet Carter, who was burned over a pitch on the outside corner, has something to say about Dale Ford about that one that was called a ball.
Sinker.
Three and 2 to Marty Barrett. And he lost him. Ball 4. So Barrett, with 2 singles and a walk, goes to first, and that will bring up Buckner, Rice, and Evans.
And with the sinker ball pitcher up there, and Buckner with his problem as far as his legs go, taking a good look at Rene Lashman. Knight's looking for bunt. The double play is the inning record, so you got to look for some kind of a play.
And remember, while Ojeda was in there, Buckner was hitting the ball in the air and taking Bobby deep. 0 for 3, twice long outs to right. Now let's see about the sinker baller. Knight looking bunt on the grass. And the bunt is foul. It hit him in the batter's box. No play. It hit him in the box for sure. And the count, no balls, 1 strike. Dale Ford called it immediately.
Look at Buckner reinforcing it to Ray Knight. He squares around. Got him right on the foot. And look at Ford immediately calling it foul ball. And Buckner, when you see a motion like that, he's telling Lashman, start the signs all over again. I missed the first time you did it.
0-1, the count to Bill Buckner. Buck staring to the right side of the infield. He wasn't looking down at Lashman at all. 0-1. And the runner goes, and the pitch is hit up the middle. Back to get it is Backman, and they make the play. So they put a hit and run play on to avoid the double play. They not only avoid it, but Buckner gets his man up 90 feet to second base. So that was a good bit of hitting.
You can see Barrett looking back. He follows the ball, and Backman's play only to first base. It's his job to put the bat on the ball, and that's what he did. When he was looking, he was almost trying to, before when Vinny talked about it, like he was trying to check who was going to be covering. Usually the second baseman holds when the left-hand batter's up there.
Where is Jim Rice with a chance to untie the score? 4-1. Rice walked in the first inning, struck out in the third, flied to right in the 5th. All of those at-bats were against the starter, Bob Ojeda. 1-0. Roller foul outside of third. 1 ball and 1 strike. For Rice, this is the 6th game of the World Series. This is only his 4th at-bat in the series with a man in scoring position.
It's really hard to believe when you stop to think what Marty Barrett has done.
Well, how about Barrett? Every time you look up, he's on base 3 more times tonight. And as we had mentioned earlier, he hadn't scored a run in the series.
Impossible.
1 ball, 1 strike. Roller to third. Knight charging. High throw off Hernandez's glove. And over to third goes Barrett. A routine play gets away by Ray Knight. Just a slow roller against a slow runner. He had plenty of time, and he threw it away.
You'll see it. Nothing tough about it.
And not only does he lose Rice, but since it's such a bad throw, he allows Barrett to get over to third. And now the Mets have a problem. It is indeed strength against strength. They're going to have a sinker ball pitcher against a low ball hitter, Dwight Evans.
That ball just sailed right up and over Hernandez's glove. They had a meeting as to who would be covering, and you see Backman now talking to McDowell, pointing to the shortstop. They're still not sure. Backman just hollered in, but they are sure now.
It's interesting that because of Dwight Evans' error, Ray Knight turned around to be the tying run. Now because of Knight's error, Dwight Evans has a chance to untie the score. Infield in double play depth. Evans double to left, flied to right, and walked. 2-2, top of the 7th inning. Big error by Ray Knight. Sinker, ball 1.
Much like you have to lay off the high fastball with Clemens, you have to lay off that pitch that seems to be right about at your knees, because by the time it comes across the plate, it is out of the strike zone and a cinch ground ball if you try to pull it. And there it was.
1 ball, no strikes. Rich Gedman on deck. Missed again, and Carter can't believe it. 2 balls and no strikes. Davy Johnson sweating it out in the dugout. It was quite a mountain for the Mets to climb to get Clemens a 2-0 lead, but they climbed that one. There's ball 3, almost a wild pitch.
And he really overthrew that one. He tried to get a little extra on it and almost got it by Carter, who makes a good play getting that ball. Backhands it. That glove with that break in the middle, much like a first baseman's mitt, what made the difference on that play.
Evans, a quick look at Latchman. Run is at first and third, 1 out. 3-0 the count to Dwight Evans. In there.
Here's your moment of truth.
Johnson dying a little bit in the Mets dugout. 3 balls, 1 strike. Time, no pitch. The plate umpires have allowed that to happen throughout the series, and that really is not the way the rule is in the book. But they have allowed the hitter to ask, and they have granted time even though the pitcher is in the middle of his delivery.
You got to believe that in the playoffs and World Series they really stretch that rule book, because Davey is really upset.
Sure.
What's going on?
It's not supposed to be. You're not supposed to allow a man to do that. 3-1 to count to Dwight Evans. Foul back, 3-2. Now you have a decision, I guess, for John McNamara. Jim Rice doesn't have any speed, and he's talking to Walt Reniak at first. So we'll see if Mac puts a run and hit play on for Rice so that he could possibly have a chance to break up a double play. And McDowell wants to talk to Hernandez about coming over there perhaps and tying up Jim Rice.
Rice is still not sure, because he keeps looking at Reniak for confirmation. Usually the first base coach, he may have a word sign like maybe your first name or whatever. Now he's checking down at third base, looking around, but he had been staring at Reniak.
McNamara played hit and run with 2 out in the 2nd inning, and Boggs obliged. So we'll watch Rice at first. Barrett at third, 1 out, 3-2 to Evans, 2-2 in the 7th inning. Rice goes. Sinker is hit down to second. They can't get the double play. Safe at second, out at first. And the run is in. So that was the big play. Do you turn Rice loose or don't you? If he's not going, they get the double play. But he was going, and he was not only there, but safe. And the run is in. So the error gets even larger. Otherwise, the inning is over.
He got the sinker in a good spot, and now you see Rice sliding in safe. And it's a decision that'll get lost in the box score, but McNamara, if it's a strikeout, it's a throw him out, but he makes the move, lets Rice start, and gets the big run. Watch Barrett scoring the tie-breaking run.
So a key decision by John McNamara. And the Sox lead 3-2, and Gedman hits it foul. 0-1. In the inning, Barrett walked. Buckner grounded out. Barrett was going, and Buckner, throwing his bat at the ball, prevented a force play. Rice hit a routine ground ball that Knight threw away. That put runners at first and third, and McNamara had Rice going, and that turns out to be a big decision.
And once again, that base on balls, just like it got to Clemens in the 5th inning with Strawberry, it gets McDowell here in the 7th.
0-1. 0-2. And for the first time, despite the fact he's been on base all night long and all series long, Marty Barrett finally scores a run, and it is a big one. Gedman, 2 fly balls and a strikeout against Bobby Ojeda.
How many times in a ball game one pitch could make the difference?
Boy,
if he gets the strikeout, it's strike him out, throw him out. He gets the ground ball, and they get the run.
0-2. Sinker hit into the hole. Now they're going to wave Rice in. Mookie's got a chance to get him to Carter. He is out at the plate.
Mookie lets it go on a fly. Carter, once he catches the ball, he knows he can ride Rice inside. Now he makes him slide to the inside, never gets the home plate. Watch Dale Ford. He wants to see if Carter holds the ball, and once he does, he calls him out. But Carter rides him inside.
It is 3-2 Boston. Schiraldi, the former Met, who had the penthouse and basement existence in Anaheim, is now asked to get the last 6 outs of the World Series. And standing in his way, first off, is Lee Mazzilli. Mazzilli followed by Dykstra and Backman. The Met pinch hitters are 0 for 5 in the series. Right.
And there you saw his best pitch right there, his fastball. He just comes in and fires.
Bottom of the 8th, 3-2 Boston. Mets desperate to stay alive in the game and in the series. Time called for a moment. John Kibler called it. A beach ball was loose in the right field corner. 0-1. Slicing fly ball. Rice in pursuit. It'll curl foul and out of play. Down in the Mets bullpen, right-hander Rick Aguilera is loosening up. Aguilera was up very early and now very late. One and 2. Another slicing foul off third down the line in the crowd, and it's still 1 and 2.
The prime requisite of the relief pitcher is to throw strikes, and you're watching Schiraldi just look down, get a fastball sign from Gedman, and just put everything he's got behind him.
Schiraldi has a save in the series, but prior to tonight, he is certainly well rested for this performance. Fastball full to the hole, base hit into right field for Mazzilli. The time run is aboard. Mazzilli indicating he's expecting a runner. coming yet if there's going to be one at all. This crowd has reason to cheer. 39 times this year the Mets came from behind to win. And remember, they set a Mets record of 55 victories at home. And Mazzilli, after questioning Johnson, got the answer, you're the runner. Len Dykstra, Wally Backman, and Keith Hernandez. The Red Sox are looking bunt. Dykstra has struck out twice, grounded to short against Clemens. There's the bunt. Schiraldi's going to go to second in the dirt. Everybody's safe.
He's a bit undecided. His only play, first base, he throws a sinker.
I'll assume until we hear otherwise, it is not a sacrifice. I think a good throw would have gotten a man. So we'll double check. Okay, they'll make it a sacrifice. And then the error allowing Dykstra to reach first. Now the question is, now will Backman bunt to get the tying run to third and a possible winning run to second?
They're really charging hard. Buckner is way in, and Backman, who can handle that bat.
Backman struck out, fly to left, single to the hole at short on a smothering backhanded stop by Spike Owen. He was second in the league in sacrifice bunts this year. The bunt is down. Schiraldi has to go to first.
He would have had to play at third, but Boggs had to come in because of Backman, and therefore could not get back to the bag in time, with Mazzilli coming down to third, and Schiraldi's only play was to first. The bunt comes right back to Schiraldi. Now he looks at third. He's got to play, but luckily he doesn't throw because Boggs couldn't get back. And he makes the one sure out. Now look where Boggs is, and that's the key to this play. He starts in and says, I better get back, but Schiraldi sees he's not back to the bag and wisely goes to first.
One out, second and third. And for the third time tonight, the Mets have a golden opportunity. Stanley and Sambito are throwing in the Red Sox bullpen. Hernandez and Carter are due up. Keith Hernandez flied to center, fouled out to third, and singled in the sixth inning. 3-2 Red Sox, bottom of the eighth, and the Mets trying to come back.
I doubt if he gets a chance to hit here.
So Hernandez will get 4 wide ones. That takes the bat right out of his hand. And Gary Carter will have his second golden chance. You remember Carter in the sixth inning with the game tied had runners at first and third and was called out on strikes. In a moment, he'll be coming up with the bases loaded and 1 out. And the chant, Gary, Gary, and the people are up. And Shea Stadium is a madhouse. Mazzilli at third, Dykstra at second, Hernandez at first, and 1 out. Ball one. Time. And a turn of the screw as far as the tension is concerned. Ball two. Two and oh. Ball three. Oh, this will kill you.
That's all he's asking for.
Swung on and line to left, right at Rice. Tagging up is Mazzilli to score, and down to third goes Dykstra. It's a brand new ball game.
Davy Johnson gambling 3-0 for a base hit, got the sacrifice fly. Rice's high throw allowed Dykstra to go to third.
And boy, does that take a lot of weight and a lot of heat and a lot of pressure off the on-deck hitter, Ray Knight. He's off the hook. Now Darryl Strawberry with runners at first and third in a 3-3 tie in the bottom of the eighth.
Buckner behind him.
Fouled away.
Not even worried about Keith, and Keith is pointing to Strawberry. Keep that shoulder in there. He was patting his right shoulder. Keep that front shoulder in there.
Darryl has walked twice and hit into a force play. He has 2 stolen bases. 0-1. Dykstra bluffing down the line. Fouled at the plate. 0-2. So just as Ray Knight's error gave the Red Sox a big run in the 7th, so the throwing error by Calvin Schiraldi has given the Mets the tying run in the 8th.
Both Hernandez and Bill Robinson at first base trying to give hints to Strawberry as the Red Sox have their meeting on the mound, and they're trying to set up a defense. Should Hernandez decide to break from first base, you can see him checking the bench. He can go off first base as far as he wants. Buckner's playing way behind him, and with 2 strikes, you can look for anything.
0-2. Hernandez is going on a fly ball to right field. Evans looking over at Henderson. It's Henderson. But the Mets scratched for 1 run, 1 hit. There were 3 sacrifices. 3-3 in the 8th.
The Red Sox did not score in the top of the 9th. Let's go to the bottom of the inning with the game still tied at 3.
Calvin Schiraldi now battling for a decision. Ball 1, breaking ball. The Red Sox left 12 men on base in their 9 innings of at-bat. 12. Ball 2. The Mets have left 5 men on, and you can see the rally caps are now in order as the Mets bench turns the caps around. 2-0. Ball 3. In there. 3-1. Mookie Wilson on deck, and then the kid shortstop Kevin Elster. Anything but a kid manager, John McNamara, looks on. Ball 4.
Looking for a sign, but if he does anything but bunt, they may have to call him to, I don't know what. Buckner's setting up a defense now. That baseball balls in the 7th, 8th, and 9th inning always spelling trouble. When you get fancy here, you have to get outs.
The entire infield getting it squared away as Boggs comes over. You have Mookie Wilson followed by Kevin Elster and then Lee Mazzilli. Remember, Mazzilli stayed in the game. Wilson struck out, singled to right, and grounded out. He's bunting and fouled it. 0-1. The Mets had 3 sacrifices in the 8th inning, 2 bunts and a fly ball. Mookie does not have a sacrifice all year, and he's asked to get one down now. Buckner was really coming, as was Boggs.
Giraldi off the mound. They're really pinching.
0-1. The bunt out to get it is Gedman, and throws not in time, and we have our first argument of the series. He was on the bag, John said. You can't blow that call. On that blast bag. Why? You couldn't have seen it, John said. Here it is again. You be the judge. What the Red Sox contention was to Jim Evans, you couldn't have seen that Owens was on the bag. And Jim Evans said, I saw it. And the Sox said you couldn't have seen it if you called him safe. Apparently they wanted Evans to talk to another umpire. Here's the play. You can see him coming off the bag. So Jim Evans was right there to call it. And now the Mets have first and second and nobody out in the bottom of the 9th in a tied-up game. Howard Johnson will be coming up to bat for Kevin Elster. Howard Johnson. And the Sox hold another meeting. So once again, we can take a look at our first truly controversial play of the series.
Barrett is claiming that he had his foot on the bag when he had the ball.
And I could read McNamara's lips saying to Evans, you couldn't have seen it. But Jim was right there. There's the foot.
There's Evans' position. He's in perfect position. Barrett is sure of it. Look at him.
Maintaining, of course, that the sliding knight had obscured his vision. There will be an error charge to Rich Gedman. Now here's Hojo trying to move the men along. Missed it. 0-1.
So if he gets it down that third base line, Boggs is not given quite as much ground as he gave the last time. He gets it down the third base line. It could be a base hit. That grass will hold it and slow it down.
Fielder's choice, error 2 if you're keeping score. Ray Knight at second. Slow runner. Mookie Wilson at first, a fast runner. 1 ball, 1 strike, and he was not around that time.
Johnson is his own man, I'll tell you. Everybody in the ballpark looking for bunt, but Davey controls the situation.
1 ball and 1 strike to Howard Johnson. Ground ball foul to Bill Robinson. Surprising. They have Hojo up there swinging. Bottom of the 9th and nobody out. And you have a left-hand hitter, Mazzilli, on deck. Then another left-hand hitter, Dykstra and Backman. So Davies rolled the dice with Howard Johnson. 1-2. Foul tipped. He struck out. On a check swing that ticked the bat, Johnson strikes out. 1 very big out. And Lee Mazzilli coming up.
And unless he gets that run in, Davies on the firing line once again. That foul tip, the ground ball now, and you're out of the inning.
The Johnson failing with the other Johnson now has Mazzilli, who had the single to open up the 8th inning and scored on Carter's line drive to Jim Rice to tie it up. Mazzilli staying in the game to play right field for Darryl Strawberry in bat 9th. Knight at second, Wilson at first, 1 out. Ball 1. On deck is the little man who has played such a big role for the New York Mets, Lenny Dykstra. Check swing. No swing, says Harry Wendelstedt. Ball 2. Pete Hernandez screaming with Johnson and Stottlemyre. Lip-biting time for John McNamara. He's still steaming over the call at second base.
I could read Hernandez that time, man. Get a good ball.
2-0 to Mazzilli. High drive into right field, hooking down in the corner, foul. Mazzilli chipping his bat, evidently.
From the looks of the wear on that bat, it could be his favorite. That's a golden oldie he just put down.
Ray Knight opened up the inning with a walk. Wilson bunted. Gedman threw to second. Jim Evans ruling that Spike Owen came off the bag and didn't get back down in time. However, the Mets opted not to bunt with Howard Johnson, and he struck out. And now the count on Lee Mazzilli, 2 balls and 1 strike. High fly ball into left field. Going back on it is Rice on the track to handle it. And of course, after that play with Johnson, had he bunted, your winning run would have scored on that. 2 down. Knight still at second base. And the batter is Lenny Dykstra. Dykstra struck out in the first inning, grounded to short in the third, struck out in the sixth, sacrificed in the eighth. On deck, Pete Hernandez. Ground ball foul. 0-1. Interesting to look tonight that now that Lenny Dykstra comes up with a runner in scoring position, Ray Knight, every man in the Mets lineup has come up with a man in scoring position. And it's 3-3, bottom of the ninth. Mazzilli thinking about that long out to left. 0-1 to Dykstra. One ball, one strike. Ball 2. Giraldi looked back at the mound as if his spikes had caught. 2-1.
Evans is deep in right field. Henderson and Rice not too deep, so there could be a play. There could be a play center and left. Knight not that fast.
With a left-hand hitter up, Knight is not worrying about Barrett. His only concern is Owen, who is bird-dogging him quite a bit. Fouled away. 2-2. The deuce is wild on Dykstra in the bottom of the ninth of a 3-3 tie. Don Baylor, the designated sitter in the National League Park. Time.
Who called it that time, I wonder? It looked like Dale Ford his concentration may have broken because Dykstra didn't back out at all.
What he did was he took his left hand off the bat and held it up as if he was asking the teacher to lead the room. And finally Ford spotted it and called time. 2-2. Ball 3, a throw back, and Knight just got under the tag by Barrett.
If the throw's on the shortstop side, they got him. Barrett got over there in good shape. It was one of those I'll be there plays. Nothing set before that. Now Getman's throw, he spots it. He almost has to move out to get away from Dykstra. If it's on the shortstop side, they got him.
Now Ray Knight, who was cheating, trying to get the extra steps in the event of a base hit, is now given the luxury because of the off-the-line throw. He will be in motion 3-2. So what a big play that was.
That ball was there ahead of him. It just a little bit on the wrong side.
The runners go on a full count. There they go instead of fate. Knight's the winning run at second base. The runners go on a fly ball to left field. Jim Rice is there. And we're going to extra innings. And the key play in the inning, besides the throw to second, Davy Johnson's option to not bunt with Howard Johnson. And the Mets lead 2. They've left 7 in the game. And at the end of 9, a 3-3 tie. If you look at the Red Sox bench and you think of pinch hitters, they have only right-handed batters. to go against Aguilera if they are thinking of batting for Schiraldi. Only right-hand hitters. And of course the #1 right-hand hitter, Don Baylor. And you can see he's loosening up. And a drive to left. Going back on it is Mookie Wilson, and this one is gone. Henderson has done it again. And a note on Rick Aguilera. He gives up the most home runs on the staff.
It looked like a fastball, and there you see Roger Clemens, and look at this bench.
And it is 4-3 Red Sox on the lightning-like home run of Dave Henderson.
And he knew it when he touched it off, and what a difference in the swing between this one on Aguilera and Ojeda.
A strike to Spike Owen, who is 3 for 3. So the Mets disdain the bunt, and the Red Sox make them pay with a home run. 1 ball and 1 strike. When the Mets bat in the bottom of the 10th, they'll have Backman, Hernandez, and Carter. Slicing foul off third, out of play.
You think that Henderson hasn't been on a roll?
Just look at him. 1-2 to count to Spike Owen. Fouled away. The Red Sox led 2-0. The Mets tied at 2-2. The Red Sox led 3-2. The Mets tied at 3-3. The Mets with a golden opportunity in the 9th inning to win it, let it get away, and Henderson hits the home run leading off in the 10th. And just to switch what we said the other night, it's so quiet in New York you can almost hear Boston. 1-2. That takes care of Spike Owen. 1 out in the 10th inning. Second strikeout for Rick Aguilera. And of course that home run does a lot of things, and among others, here comes Calvin Schiraldi. It looked like Baylor was going to hit for him until Henderson ripped it. Schiraldi followed by Wade Boggs. Mazzilli short and shallow in right field. That's a strike. 0-2. That takes care of Schiraldi. So 2 out in the 10th. Roger Clemens. 1 minute he was pitching a no-hitter. The next minute he was tied. And the Sox bullpen, that's Al Nipper chatting with him. 3 outs away. Ball 1. Boggs, 2 singles, grounded out, hit into a force play, and walked intentionally. He's 2 for 4. Fouled away. 1 ball, 1 strike. To repeat, Backman, Hernandez, and Carter in the bottom of the 10th. And the Mets with 39 come from behind wins. And Henderson and company trying to take it and run. for the Red Sox, including that wild Game 5 of the playoffs with the Angels. The Boston Red Sox have won 19 games in their final at-bat this year. And that's hit in the alley in left center, but it's slicing, and Mookie can't get it. It's going to the wall. Boggs into second base with a stand-up double. So a home run and a double in the 10th inning. And the batter now, Marty Barrett.
Marty Barrett.
Marty Barrett lined out to center, 2 singles to left and 2 walks. In there, 1-1.
Aguilera kind of quick pitched him that time, caught him between waving the bat. Although Marty might have been taking that pitch all the way, but he certainly didn't appear ready for the first time in this entire series, I might add.
0-1. Backman deep at second. 1 ball, 1 strike. Boggs at second, 2 out in the 10th, a run over. Red Sox 4, Mets 3.
Hernandez is trying to get Dykstra's attention to move him in. They're deep in that outfield, and with 2 outs, crack at the bat, Boggs will be off.
1 ball, 1 strike. Ball 2. On deck, Bill Buckner. Little slider for a strike, 3-2. Boggs waiting to be picked up with 2 out. 3-2 to Marty Barrett. And it's hit into center, base hit. Dykstra charging. Here comes Boggs. He will score. The throw backed up by Aguilera, and Barrett goes to second. And it is 5-3 Red Sox. And what a big run that was.
Well, the scouting report says run on the Met outfielders, and Hernandez, as we mentioned, was trying to get Dykstra to move in, but with 2 outs, Boggs broke at the crack of the bat, and Dykstra's throw is so high nobody can cut it off. They pick up the extra base, and there again is Barrett. That is the 5th time he's been on base tonight.
So Marty Barrett puts extra weight on the Mets dugout, and here is Bill Buckner. Barrett taking second on that high throw to the plate. Buckner lined out to right, flied to center and to right, grounded out. Ball 1.
Is that ever going to be a long press conference for Davy Johnson if it ends like this?
In the bottom of the 9th inning, Ray Knight walked. Mookie Wilson bunted. The throw to second was high by Gedman. Jim Evans ruled that Owens was off the bag, and there was first and second, nobody out. A bunt puts the winning run at third base. But Davy Johnson opted to have Howard Johnson swing away, and he eventually struck out. Foul ball. And then, as so often happens after one decision, something immediately happens to make you rue the decision. Mazzilli, a fly ball deep to left that would have scored the winning run. But instead, the run is held at first and second. And when the Mets did not seize the opportunity, the Red Sox did in the 10th inning. Home run by Henderson, double by Boggs, single by Barrett, 2 runs over, and a 5-3 Boston lead. One and one. Fouled off. Marty Barrett with 3 singles and 2 walks. The only time they got him in the first inning, he hit one right on the button, but right at Len Dykstra in center. Hit him. So Buckner is nailed by the pitch, and that will bring up Jim Rice.
There's nothing you can do when that ball is right there.
Left fielder, Jim Rice.
So Buckner at first, Barrett holding at second, and Jim Rice coming up. Rice walked, struck out, flied to right, reached on a bad throw by Ray Knight, only to be thrown out at the plate and struck out. High foul, out of play. 0-1. To repeat, in case you're not keeping score, Backman, Hernandez, and Carter due up in the bottom of the 10th, and Aguilera's spot is due up 4th. One ball, 1 strike. One and 2. And that's lined to right. Mazzilli has a bead on it and puts it away. But the Red Sox come up with 2 big runs on a single, double, home run. And at the end of 9 1/2, Red Sox 5, Mets 3. 0-2 to Wally Backman. Little poke job to left. Rice coming over. 1 away. It is tough enough to lose. It is a long enough winter anyway. But when you have made a decision and it will stick in your craw all winter, it will make the offseason almost interminable. And that's the life of a big league manager. Here's Keith Hernandez. Flied to center, fouled out, single to center, walked intentionally. 1 for 3. Right. Rick Aguilera, who gave up the home run to Henderson. 1 ball and 1 strike. On deck, Gary Carter. So this at bat for Keith Hernandez, very important. Trying to make Carter tying run. 1-1. Ball 2. And that's hit to dead center with Henderson going to run it down. And the Mets are down to their last out.
Here's the catcher.
Kevin Mitchell is on deck to bat for Rick Aguilera and Gary Carter at the plate. And he pops it foul, out of play. Gedman coming back. It is out of play. Carter had two great chances as we go back through the history books. And the Red Sox are 2 strikes away. In 1918, when the Red Sox won, each player received $1,000 as the winner's share. This year, each player will get more than $70,000. 1-1. The oil can, at least for the moment, looks like he has tomorrow off. 1-1. Dave Henderson joining Carlton Fisk with dramatic 6th game home runs. And Roger Clemens hoping for that last out. Lined into left field, base hit for Carter, and the Mets are still alive. Hit number 2 off Schiraldi, number 6 for New York, and with 2 out, representing the tying run, Kevin Mitchell. Checking his outfield for Mitchell, and the outfield deep and straight away. Barrett is on the rim, and Owen is deep at short. Check swing foul. 0-1. Mitchell has had 5 at-bats in the series. He's 1 for 5.
John was just one in his ball club. No trick plays, no nothing. Keep Mitchell off second base.
Carter at first. Curveball, and that's going to be hit to center. Base hit. And now suddenly with 2 out in the 10th inning, the tying runs are aboard, and Ray Knight will be the batter. Have been very important for 24 victories during the regular year. They were very important for 7 innings tonight. And now all Roger Clemens can do is fold them and watch. Bill Fisher going out to talk to Calvin Schiraldi. And of course that second run that appeared to be window dressing. The double by Boggs and the single by Barrett. That second run now becomes a tremendous weight around the necks of the Mets.
There really isn't a whole lot of strategy right about now. He's just reminding everybody of the situation. The big guy is Mitchell over there at first base.
The Mets left 2 men on base in the 8th. They left 2 men on base when they had a chance to win it in the 9th, and they have 2 men on base in the bottom of the 10th. Knight is 1 for 3 with a walk. Strike with a fastball at the knees. 0-1. Carter and Mitchell out on the line. Little roller up along third. Boggs is going to let it roll. It goes foul. So Knight comes back to hit with the count no balls and 2 strikes. Each team playing fast and loose with the baseball, as the error column would indicate. Zambito and Stanley are standing up in the bullpen for John McNamara, but neither man is throwing. Mitchell at first, Gary Carter at second, 2 out. And that's going to be hit into center field. Base hit. Here comes Carter to score, and the tying run is at third in Kevin Mitchell. And the Mets refuse to go quietly. With 2 out, they come scrambling back with consecutive hits by Carter, Mitchell, and Knight. And John McNamara goes to the mound. 5-4 Red Sox, and he's also going to the bullpen. He wants Bob Stanley to pitch to Mookie Wilson. So the Mets, 39 times they came from behind to win, are battling to stay alive. You have the tying run 90 feet away in Kevin Mitchell, and the possible winning run at first in Ray Knight. And here's Mookie. Fouled off. 55,078 here at Shea, and they have really been put through the ringer. One ball, one strike. Ball 2. And on deck, Howard Johnson, who had that most important at-bat in the 9th inning. Fouled away, 2-2. Fouled away again. Fouled away. Tension mounts some more with 2 out in the 10th. 5-4 Red Sox. Ray Knight at first. Kevin Mitchell at third. 2-2 to Mookie Wilson. And it's going to go to the backstop. Here comes Mitchell to score the tying run, and Ray Knight is at second base. And he pops it in the air, foul off to the right. Gedman coming over. He will not have a play. That was a wild pitch.
Way inside. Gedman reaches for it. You see he hardly moved as far as shifting, and it gets by him. A wild pitch. Apparently not near where he was looking for the pitch.
5-5 in a delirious 10th inning. Line drive foul.
And Marty Barrett was out of position because they had Knight really picked off, but Stanley didn't see him. There it is again. You see, he just reaches for the ball. Down goes Mookie. It kind of sailed inside. And here comes Barrett in to talk to Stanley, because had Mookie hit just a weak ground ball, Barrett was way out of position because they had a good chance to get Knight at second base.
Can you believe this ball game at Shea?
Oh, brother.
So the winning run is at second base with 2 out, 3 Wilson. Little roller up along first. Behind the bag. It gets through Buckner. Here comes Knight, and the Mets win it. If one picture is worth 1,000 words, you have seen about 1,000,000 words. But more than that, you have seen an absolutely bizarre finish to Game 6 of the 1986 World Series. The Mets are not only alive, they are well, and they will play the Red Sox in Game 7 tomorrow.
The Mets went on to beat the Red Sox in Game 7 and win their first World Championship since 1969.